So what we're going over today is from the O section of the Grow Guide. Has everyone had a chance to actually look through the guide? If not, it's okay. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Sorry. Alright, so what we're going over is actually 09, and that's list 3 quick ways to take a brain break. One of my favorites. I love breaks. I love rest. Like, how I knew I really wanted to introduce this was just a proclamation. And that is to understand that processes of rest and recovery are acts of radical resistance and self-actualization. I think throughout our own processes, we always say, oh, we'll make time for it later. Well, we'll make time for it later, and then we don't. It's that self-actualization that makes a difference. It's the belief that you're valuable enough for rest. It's belief that rest is a great investment in what you do. I want to really start off with a couple quotes. The first is from Contra Tiempo, which is a company in Los Angeles that uses African Caribbean movement and dance as a means of community care. I think that work is amazing. If you have a chance, check them out. But on their website they say, you're led to feel guilty about rest to push yourself to extremes and to glorify harmful work-life imbalances. This behavior has troubling and dangerous effects on both physical and mental health. It can lead to burnout, chronic stress, and unwarranted feelings of shame when you feel like your output isn't enough. Care is not a nuclear act. It's really a cooperative investment in ourselves and in each other. And then the second and last quote I'm going to read is actually from Valencia's book, Soundless Cries Don't Lead to Healing. Instead of merely accepting what we see, we must search, find, and pull the roots of each seed of ignorance that has been planted. If we want healing for our world, we have to denounce our silence, guilt, and shame. We must stand in solidarity. So rest isn't just for you, it's for everyone around you. Taking a break isn't just for you, it's for everyone around you. It's for your entire ecosystem. So in my many practices, my domestic practices, my practices as a partner, my practices of spirituality, my practices of art, my practices of professional work, I really like to separate my breaks or my idea of breaks into 2 different categories. Breaks with the purpose of rest and breaks with the purpose of recovery. Which again, the title of this presentation, Rest and Recovery. When I'm taking a break for the purpose of rest, I'm doing so because the task at hand has taken me past my current capacity and I must create space between myself and the task at hand. So the 3 ways that I take breaks in this way include number 1, which is probably my most essential one, that's leaving the space for 30 minutes. And by leaving the space, I mean getting completely up and leaving the room. If your laptop is upstairs, you don't need to be upstairs. You need to be downstairs. In reality, you really need to be outside. Because fresh air and sunlight will really do some amazing things for you when you feel like you're stuck, when you feel like you need to regenerate. The second is a nap. I will for sure cut that work meeting on and hit a 30-minute nap. Like that. Not the work I do professionally. The work I do outside of my 9 to 5. Naps are really the key. Like, naps are really a cheat code on the low. Even if you don't necessarily go to sleep, just taking a moment to lay down, give your body a break. we are so hard on ourselves, we're so hard on each other, that sometimes you just need to lay down. The third one is just closing my eyes and taking 10 intentional breaths. I'm sure as you're either going through school, going through work, parenthood, partnerhood, you probably always find yourself being like, damn, I'm not breathing. I feel so much pressure on my chest and I'm not breathing. Which is crazy, because the breath is what gets things going. The breath is what recenters us. The breath brings in the new and it exhales the old. It literally helps us shed the things that we don't need or that no longer serve us. And those are breaks for rest. Now, recovery on the other hand, when I'm taking a break for the purpose of recovery, I'm doing so in an effort to nourish my working mind, body, and spirit. I do this to create the circumstances necessary for sustaining my work while actually working. And for me, one of the most important things where I really feel like I need to kind of generate while working is I'll step away from my work and I'll read the preface of a book. If you know me, you know that I stay with a bell hooks book in the tuck. It's ready to go. And woo, can that lady write a preface? And for me, when I need a break to recover, I need to check in with my loved ones. I need to check in with my community. I need to nurture that solidarity. Because again, cooperative economics. This is a group activity. And then the last one is visual art. I love using visual art as, I used to call it just a communication tool, but I really think it's a really important piece of many different types of engineering. So that's why I love visual art as a tool for re-engineering how I work and reapproaching problem solving in a way that isn't as sterile as just numbers, charts, and statistics. Yeah, also included, if you have the presentation open, it is an amazing tea recipe. Tea is my favorite ritual. I live and thrive. I say live and die, but I don't live and die, I live and thrive. I live and thrive by a really good tea recipe. And this one includes lion's mane, ginkgo leaves, rosemary, peppermint, and lemon balm, which are some of my favorites. So if you want to tap into that, please tap into that. Yeah, that's it. But before everyone claps, I really want you not to, okay. Don't clap for me, but clap for yourself, because you showed up today. So clap for yourself.
Thank you, Brian. Also, for me today was really balancing those two things, being a student by day, and then the other capacity I'm in. I work as a recipe developer now, and I work a lot with food and content and media in that space. So really those are the two key objectives in trying to find balance between navigating back and forth between those two tasks. And that's where really the 09 comes in. For me, it's like that break, like you mentioned, taking breaths, creating separation. And the article y'all linked, it said like, eat a snack. And honestly, for me, that's what did it today. I just stopped, I ate a snack, and it's not just like, you know, the breathing and the meditation nourishes your mind, but sometimes you really just want food. Like physically, it makes you feel completely different. So between, you know, doing my analytics, writing code, and trying to figure out the school piece, I just sat back, I ate my snack, I had a protein bar, it wasn't like phenomenal, but you know, it did the job. And then all I did is switch gears and then just look at pictures of food for the next hour. And for me, I think sinking into that break and using that as my transition, that's what like was my real win today, and I really wanted to share that. So thank y'all. Thank you for sharing.
So, hello everyone, my name's Reagan. She or they pronouns is great. I am a designer by trade, and I really appreciated this session because it helped me get out of my own head a little bit. I'm actually like really good at being productive. Like I'm an earth sign, Capricorn stellium, so I like to work, and I will like work all the time. I'll work in my free time, I'll work on the weekends, and like my friends are always like, you need to like take a break. And so that session where we read the like social productivity article, just like taking breaks and how that's actually more productive for you, was like the medicine I needed today. And it really gave me permission to just kind of play, because at first I was like, oh, I didn't like bring anything to do, I'm not like doing this thing right, like I'm gonna get like an F in the assignment. I'm like, wait, like this is a free thing that's like no pressure, kind of do what you want. And hearing you, Brian, talk about like resting being a radical act, that's something I think like really need. Especially because I also come from like an activism background, and so I'm sort of also being bombarded with like, we have to act now, like things are urgent, we have to take action all the time, and not really getting to rest is something that I talk myself out of. So it was really reassuring to hear that.
So I'm Michael. So my professional job, I run a certification program, and it involves a little bit of speaking at conferences. Another thing I do is I teach martial arts, and sometimes I got 2 kids, sometimes I got like 4 or 5 students, and I'm going constantly trying to keep everybody engaged and active, trying to figure out that details. And at the end of the class, we do this thing called junbi, where it's just standing in attention. But I always, right before that, I tell them, take a deep breath, and then do. Okay? Like, I've been going 15, 20 minutes, and I have a breath. That is my reminder for me to take a breath. Right? So when I do conference presentations, I realize that I kind of go off the rails sometimes, and presentations go off the rail, and I realize I got this crowd, so I'm kind of doing it right now, so let's do it. If you don't mind, just take a breath in, and exhale. Now we're kind of reset. So my wife has been bugging me for 3 decades to write a novel.
Write it, yes.
So just putting down some ideas, and what happens to me all the time is I can't write ideas fast enough. Right? So they're all coming at the same time, and I can't get the pen to the paper fast enough. So what do? And it helped. It got me focused. I think I got a lot of my ideas now. So that just single breath helps in this.
As we open, so we close. So as we close out, everyone again, close your eyes. Remember, no effort here, okay? Just close your eyes, breathe, and just sit with me for a second, okay? Take about 5 seconds to just sit. The table of dialogue is closed. Thank you so much.